Hello, welcome to another short devotional. This one is coming from Luke chapter 11, and there's a lot in there about prayer. So we're going to be talking about prayer, and we're going to be focusing specifically starting with verse 5. So I just went over this with my church here in Boise, Idaho. And it's really interesting because this parable teaches us some important things about prayer, our natural tendency, or at least mine, right? I shouldn't say our, I don't know what yours is, but is when I think about prayer, I think about myself and things that I want and things that I would love for God to do for me. And that's sort of just my natural approach. And there's stories like this one in the Bible or parables, these sayings of Jesus that challenge that. And I really appreciate that because I think it helps me develop a healthier approach to prayer. So I hope that this is beneficial for you. Let's jump into the text and see what it says. Luke chapter 11, starting with verse 5, says, "And he said to them," so this is Jesus talking to his disciples. They had asked him to teach him how to pray. So he just went over the model prayer. And now he says to them, "Which of you shall have a friend, and go to him at midnight, and say to him, 'Friend, lend me 3 loaves, for a friend of mine has come to me on its journey, and I have nothing to set before him.'" I love this idea. Jesus here is in the context of talking about prayer, and he's saying, how many of you are willing to go to your neighbor to ask for food? And I'm a little bit hesitant to go to my neighbor and ask for things. I guess now because I'm in a new place and I don't really know my neighbors that well. When I lived in Georgia, had really good relationships with my neighbor. I'd ask him for things all the time, but not at midnight, right? It has to be an emergency. Why would you bother your friend at midnight? But this is the thing, right? So this would be an uncomfortable thing for you to do, to come and ask your friend for bread at midnight. But I think what makes all the difference here in this story is that you're asking for help in order to be able to help your friend. You're asking for bread to share with your friend who's home on the journey. So I'm just going to keep reading and I'll come back and talk about this a little bit more. "And he will answer from within and say, 'Do not trouble me, for the door is now shut. My children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give it to you.'" So this is the idea, right? If someone comes to you asking for bread at midnight, would you turn them away? And the idea here being in bed with the children. This is back in the day. People don't have their own individual bedrooms. Everybody sleeps together. It's a way of keeping warm. It's a way of keeping safe. The animals would likely be inside the house as well. So getting up is a huge hassle. It's the desert. It's probably cold in the middle of the night, and the neighbor just doesn't want to get up and go. And look at verse 8. Jesus says, "I say to you, though he will not rise and give to him because he is his friend." So the guy's not going to get up and do this just because, he's a good friend. "Yet because of his persistence, he will rise and give to him as much as he needs." Because of his persistence. I believe this is the main idea of this parable, the idea of persisting in prayer. And I love the point that it's not just a selfish prayer. The person is not asking for bread for himself. He's not asking for bread because, he ran out or he didn't buy any or he's being lazy or he didn't plan ahead. No, he's asking for bread to share with a friend. So here's my understanding of it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. But my understanding is, what if we came to God to ask for something, ask for blessings that we may share with others? That is, when you have your devotional life, right? When you're spending time in prayer and in Bible study, you say, "Lord, teach me something, reveal something to me, show me something that I can then share with somebody else." Because I believe that as we grow in our personal walk with God, as we draw closer to Him, as He draws us closer to Him, as we spend time in Bible study and prayer, it begins to transform who we are. It shapes our heart. It makes us less selfish. It makes us more other-centered. It makes us more honest, more kind, more willing to forgive, more willing to stand up for what's right, to defend the weak and the oppressed. All these things happen as God comes into our heart and continues to shape our character. And I love this prayer and this approach to life in general, that I want more so that I am able to share with those who are in need. So that's a thought for you. What if we started praying, asking God, bless me with this because I want to help my friend who is in need, and not just ask once or twice, but persist. The prayer, the parable here clearly highlights, the story that Jesus told. Because of his persistence, he will rise and give him as much as he needs. So God will give us as much as we need as we persist, especially when we're looking for it in order to bless somebody else. So my personal walk with God makes me a blessing to those around me. As God blesses me with things, be it financial, be it at work, be it, in whatever, health, relationships, that I can use these gifts, these things, this bread that comes from God, right? And spiritual insights as something to share with somebody else for the benefit of those around me. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this parable. It's found in Luke chapter 11, starting with verse 5, verses 5 through 8. Please leave a comment, and if you appreciate these videos or if this has been helpful, let me know, because it motivates me to keep going with these. And until next time, we'll see you then.